Hello, my fellow nerds, and welcome. Today's discussion, the Pixar Theory. More specifically, we're going to try to figure out just who are Boo's parents. If you're not familiar with the Pixar Theory, it states that Boo from Monsters, Inc. is the witch from Brave. There have been many videos going around talking about this very subject, but today, we're going to take a crack at it, and we're going to come at it from an entirely different direction. I'm here to tell you that Boo is not just a super, but she's an incredible. When Brad Bird, who is the director of The Incredibles, devised the power for each member, he did so based on their role in the family. So the father, who is the head of the household, gets super strength. The mother, who gets pulled in every direction, gets the ability to stretch. The wild and crazy boy gets super speed, and the shy teenage girl gets the ability to go invisible. And as for Jack Jack, well, babies are full of potential, so he just gets a laundry list of abilities. Now, what this has done is led to many people theorizing that all powers are based on personality. Actually, the Super Carlin brothers did a video on this exact subject, and while I don't fully disagree with them, I don't fully agree with them either. It is widely believed that the original batch of supers got their powers from government experimentation. So it makes sense that, yeah, they would get their powers from their personality because they were older when they got their powers. But for the kids, I think this is entirely different. They get their powers from their parents. Now you might be thinking, how does super strength and stretching equal speed and invisibility? Well, you have a father who can move anything he wants. He can throw a car hundreds of feet in the air. You have a mother who can stretch in any direction. And then you have a son who can run anywhere he would like to. You have a father who is unmovable. He can stop a train right in its tracks. You have a mother who can manipulate her body and hide behind anything she would like to. And then you have a daughter who can go invisible and can set up force fields to stop anything. How this applies to Jack Jack? Well, I don't really know. Brad Bird had stated that as he grew up and that potential left, so too would some of his powers. So the question becomes, what power will he be left with? And I believe it will be the ability to go to the fourth dimension. And this is important, because I believe it is Jack Jack who is Boo's father. This idea that Boo is a super comes from Monsters, Inc. There's a few scenes that show that she might just have superpowers. The first scene is when we see Sully pick up Boo and place her on the other side of a door, and once he shuts it, she magically appears behind him. Then later, when he's searching for her in a bathroom stall, he can see her little feet underneath the door, but once he opens it up, she is somewhere entirely different. Now, you might just be thinking, well, this is Pixar playing a joke. And yeah, I would tend to agree with you. The thing is, though, in Pixar films, well, humans tend to act like humans, with the exception of the supers. So logic would dictate that Boo too is a super, with the ability to teleport. Now, how we connect Boo to the witch is a little bit iffy, but if Boo has powers, then the witch must have powers. And believe it or not, she does. The ability to time travel. And this is actually something from the movies. During the cauldron scene in Brave, the witch leaves a message that states she is at the Wickerman Festival in Scotland. Well, this festival took place from 2001 to 2015 and was an alternative rock festival. And if we're being honest, it makes no sense why a witch that was born in the Middle Ages would time travel to the future just to see an alternative rock concert. But if Boo is the witch, it actually makes perfect sense. She would have been born in the 1990s, grew up in the early 2000s, and was traveling back to the future to see a show she once enjoyed. Now, time travel and teleportation are not the same ability, but there is a way we can connect them, and to do so, we need to look at Jack Jack and the ability to go to the fourth dimension. In science fiction, we often hear that time is the fourth dimension, and this is not the full story. Time is how third-dimensional beings experience the fourth dimension. If we were to rise up to the fourth dimension, we'd have our birth on one end, our death on one end, and everything in between is happening simultaneously. Really quickly, I want you to think about a square. What happens when you add a square to each end? You get a cube. And what happens when you add a cube onto each end of that? You get a tesseract, which is a fourth dimensional variant of the square. So I think that when Jack is going up to that fourth dimension, he's actually becoming elongated, and he is experiencing every point in his life. And although he has the brains and body of a baby, he is very intelligent. And I think this is because he's experienced his older years already, due to this direct connection to the fourth dimension. Now, as I said in the beginning, I believe it is the parents' ability that contribute to what their kid's ability will be. Now, let's say that Jack marries a non-super, so it is only his fourth dimensional abilities that are passed on to Boo. And while Jack has this direct connection to the fourth dimension, which means that he can only travel in time to whatever point in which he was alive, she just passes through the fourth dimension, meaning she can travel to any point in time. So what we're seeing in Monsters, Inc. is not her really teleporting, but her jumping forward in time by several seconds. While in Brave, she's jumping in time by several years along the fourth dimension. Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that this theory was a little bit out there, but feel free to comment down below and let's see if we can work out the kinks and push it a little bit further. As always, you don't have to hit that like or subscribe, but if you do, I'd greatly appreciate it. So until next time, I'll see you all later.